Hello Moto GP fans, welcome back to GP today. New inside Ducati. Footage has revealed how Marc Márquez humbly took responsibility for a tricky weekend at Silverstone. Despite securing P4 in qualifying, P2 in the sprint, and P3 in the Grand Prix, Márquez struggled for grip on the GP25, echoing issues that had plagued teammate Pecco Bagnaia. In a candid post-sprint meeting, the 8-time world champion owned up to vague comments that hampered setup improvements. While Marc Márquez and Pecco Bagnaia continue to form Ducati's unbeatable factory pairing, 20-year-old Fermin Aldeguer is plotting to join their ranks in 2027. The Gresini rookie, contracted directly to Ducati, believes his early podium and contract structure give him the edge, setting the stage for a potential shake-up in the Desmosedici works team. Aprilia has provided its latest medical bulletin on reigning champion Jorge Martin's recovery from the broken ribs, lung injury, and wrist fracture he suffered in Qatar. While his comeback date remains unofficial, clues in the June 3rd update suggest Martin could be back on track following the Dutch Grand Prix at Assen, roughly aligning with his plan to test before the summer break. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. After finishing second in Saturday's sprint, Márquez met with Ducati engineers and mechanics to dissect what went wrong. His crew chief pointed out, "To find grip, maybe you tended to open the throttle too early in some corners. That screwed you over a bit." Rather than deflect, Márquez admitted his own error. "This weekend I wasn't very precise in my comments. I said to him, 'One of those weekends where you don't have the feeling with the bike.' And the comments weren't very precise. That's why we also went back over things a lot, but it can happen on some weekends," Márquez said. Although his team tried to reassure him, reminding him that testing stuff during race weekends is always difficult, Márquez insisted on better clarity moving forward. Until Silverstone, Márquez had largely avoided the front-end woes that Bagnaia endured on the GP25. But the footage shows Márquez just as vulnerable. With grip lacking, he struggled to find a smooth throttle delivery, forcing defensive lines rather than his usual attacking style. It was a rare glimpse of Márquez on the back foot. Sunday's main event began disastrously when Márquez crashed on the second lap, only to be fortunate that an oil spill from an Espargaro Morbidelli collision caused a red flag restart. In the garage, Márquez admitted, "I was going too hard," acknowledging that his eagerness led to the mistake. The restart allowed him to recover to a podium position, but the initial crash underscored how fine the margins were when the bike wasn't behaving. The Inside Ducati video also spotlighted Bagnaia's ongoing frustrations. After finishing sixth in the sprint, Bagnaia crashed out of the GP, visibly fighting to trust the front tire. "In braking, in entry I continue to remain very much at the mercy of the front," Bagnaia said. When asked for specifics, Bagnaia simply said, "I brake, I enter, I am not confident." Ducati's general manager Gigi Dall'Igna has since called on every department to play their part in helping Bagnaia rediscover confidence on the GP25. Silverstone's Inside Ducati footage revealed a rare moment of vulnerability for Marc Márquez, who conceded his own lack of precise feedback, and laid bare Bagnaia's persistent front-end issues. With both factory riders grappling for grip, Ducati's next challenge is translating these candid debriefs into concrete setup gains before the title fight intensifies. Aldeguer arrived in MotoGP this season with a standout reputation from Moto2. Ducati scooped him up and placed him in the Gresini garage on a year-old GP24. Essentially matching the factory's 2025 package. From race 1, he made his intentions clear: secure results now, then move into the official Ducati box in 2027. "Between my age and this contract, I have a bit of an advantage over the others. I have 4 years on my contract, 2 plus 2. If my results are good, the jump to the factory team should take place in 2027. Then we'll see what happens, but that's the plan. Aldeguer statement. Unlike most rookies, Aldeguer isn't tied to a satellite-only deal. His contract is directly with Ducati itself. That means he already rides a machine virtually identical to Marquez's and Bagnaia's, accelerating his adaptation to Moto GP's top tier. While others must prove themselves over a single season, Aldeguer has 2 years of factory backing before even negotiating factory seats. I'm lucky that my contract is directly with Ducati. This year we have practically the same bike as the official riders. Sharing a garage with Alex Marquez has been instrumental in Aldeguer's rapid ascent. He recounts a pre-race moment in Le Mans where Alex knocked on his hotel door, half-dressed, simply to tell him he changed his tire choice. That level of mentorship highlights how integrated Aldeguer is within the Ducati ecosystem. Alex arrived into my room just before the race, warning me he changed his mind about which tire to use, rather than to appear deceitful. That support has been invaluable. In only his 6th MotoGP start at Le Mans, Aldeguer stunned paddocks by finishing on the podium. It was a result no one expected so soon, and Ducati certainly took note. If someone told me at the beginning of the year that in my 6th race in MotoGP I would be on the podium, I would have told them to lie down. At Ducati they are very happy. I don't know if they expected the podium to come so soon. That Le Mans performance underpins Aldeguer's belief that he belongs in the factory garage sooner rather than later. With 2027 looming, new technical regulations, like the shift to an 850 cubic centimeters engine, could reshuffle team priorities. But Aldeguer sees this as an opportunity, adapt to the new rules alongside Ducati's works riders and prove he can handle the next generation of prototype. In 2027, when the new rules arrive, I want to be right there in the middle of it, learning alongside Marc and Pecco, and showing Ducati I'm ready to ride for the factory. Fermin Aldeguer's rapid rise, from Moto2 standout to Le Mans podium finisher, combined with his unique contract, puts him in prime position to challenge Marc Márquez and Pecco Bagnaia for a factory Ducati seat in 2027. As new regulations beckon, Ducati could soon find its unbeatable duo disrupted by one of MotoGP's brightest young talents. On June 3, Aprilia shared that Martin underwent a chest and wrist assessment by Dr. Xavier Mir and Dr. Angel Chart. His rib fractures are following their physiologic evolution, meaning they're healing as expected. Meanwhile, Martin's distal radius, wrist, break has fully consolidated, but a scaphoid fracture line remains visible, prompting more intensive electromagnetic therapies. The clinical outcome is fairly positive, as the distal radius fracture is consolidated. The fracture line of the scaphoid is still visible. Further electromagnetic therapies must be considered intensively. Aprilia update. A follow-up exam is scheduled for early July, a timing that coincides just after the Assen round 10 of 22. Given the 1-month gap until Martin's next checkup, his earliest competitive return may align with the Czech GP, July 18th to 20th. That would allow him to participate in a private RSGP test before the summer, as he confirmed last weekend at Misano, testing that should give him enough preparation time ahead of Bro's round. Before the summer, I will do a test. However, I will return to racing only when I am 100%. Martin's statement. While no official target date exists, Aprilia's note implies that a mid-July comeback is plausible if his July checkup yields good results. Martin's recovery news comes amid a contract dispute with Aprilia, where he's indicated a desire to invoke a performance clause to leave at the end of 2025. Although both sides have exchanged public statements, Martin offered an olive branch, suggesting he'd allow Aprilia time to prove the RSGP's competitiveness once he's back to build mutual goodwill. I have always been open to dialogue with Aprilia to extend this period to a certain number of Grand Prix after my return to competition. The aim is that both parties can give each other a second chance and feel comfortable before making a decision for 2026. Martin passed statement. His impending return, likely after Assen, will occur under the shadow of this ongoing saga, drawing interest from rival factories such as Honda. Even before resuming full GP duties, Martin re-entered an Aprilia garage at the All-Stars event in Misano, opting to lap production machines like the RS660 and RSV4. This outing marked his first two-wheeled ride since Qatar, and a step forward in both rehabilitation and public relations after last weekend's bombshell contract announcement. His Misano demo showed he's regaining confidence on two wheels, an encouraging sign ahead of his formal Moto GP test and eventual race return. Assuming Martin's scaphoid healing continues positively, Aprilia's next medical check in early July will clarify his race readiness. With Assen, June 28th to 30th, and Catalonia, July 4th to 6th, on the calendar before the Czech GP, look for Martin to slot into a private test just before Brno, and potentially rejoin the grid in Brno or the Czech Republic, depending on recovery progress. Aprilia's June 3rd medical note offers a clear recovery path for Jorge Martin, pointing toward a mid-July return. As he balances rehabilitation with the ongoing contract debate, Martin's timeline suggests he'll be back on prototype machinery in time for the Czech GP, giving him one final shot at deciding his 2026 future while still on track. Thanks for watching ZNGP today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!